Hi everyone, welcome to today's Whiteboard Wisdom Session. I'm Dr. Jordan Rigby. I am a neuropsychologist at ViewPoint Center. Today we're going to spend a few minutes talking about encouraging diversity. At ViewPoint Center we have a lot of different kids that come from all over the country, even other countries. So they all live together in the same community, and so it makes sense that we encourage diversity, we encourage working together. And so we know that diversity, or a lot of diversity, encourages good mental health, encourages good positive attitudes. But there's actually strong evidence to support that diversity actually buffers adolescents from trials and complications. We know a lot of that stuff can help in those things. And so first thing I want to talk about was the benefits of diversity. Number one, diminishing discrimination. And so as we're exposed to other people, other beliefs, as we communicate with people that are different than us, we gain attitudes that will often diminish discrimination. We'll bring those attitudes in to our own values and our own beliefs, and often have a healthier sense of self. Next thing is global citizen. Adolescents are trying to figure out who they are, where they land in this world. And even with today's communication and social media, this is even more important than ever, is we hopefully will encourage adolescents to be good global citizens, or think of other people, think of other people's roles and kind of how they got to where they are. And as we compare and contrast those roles with our own attitudes and our own beliefs, we ingest them and we become better global citizens. And that leads to better perspective on things. That leads to more enriched and encouraged perspective on what's going on in this world. And that perspective changes as we develop, as we get older. So when we encourage diversity within a group, that perspective becomes wider, and we're able to kind of make adjustments to ourselves. Next one is, it's really important to consider that it's a richer life experience can be encouraged with diversity within a group. And then the last one here, productivity. This is something a lot of people don't always think about, but when we're in a group with different people that have different ideas and different perspectives, we tend to consider things that we didn't even think of or didn't even know about, really. And so these benefits of diversity, oftentimes we think of race or cultures as those diversities, but it also expands to mental health, identity development, a lot of different areas of life. And at ViewPoint Center, like I said, we have a lot of different kids that come from a lot of different backgrounds. And so we encourage that diversity. And so one of the things we do is really focus on it within the community. And to help kind of explain that, I've invited Clint, our program director, to come in and kind of talk a little bit about how we can encourage a diverse culture.
Yeah, so I'm Clint Fulmer. I'm the program director here at ViewPoint Center. And yeah, like Jordan said, we want to normalize as much as possible with these kids. You think about a lot of our kids are coming from different situations, different backgrounds, coming into us, a lot of it not trusting anyone. So we want to make them feel as comfortable as possible so we can get the best results we can while they're with us. You know, we are very short term, and so we want to emphasize a lot why we have them, but it's the little things too. We're going to normalize with them quite a bit. The first thing I'm going to talk about is safety. You know, a lot of our kids coming into us, you know, they don't feel safe. There's a lot going on. They're coming into us crisis, you know, and so, you know, emotionally, we want to make them feel safe, you know, with our staff, with the other kids. So as much as possible, we're checking in with them. We're seeing where they're at. You know, I always encourage a lot of our staff, what we do is like 5 minutes out of your day, especially with a new kid, just asking them how they're doing, where they're at. That means a lot to them, because a lot of times they think, oh, no one cares. So that little thing there is going to make a huge difference in what we're going to do. The next thing is physical, you know, the body. You know, mentally, everything. You know, they're going through a lot right now. So physically, we want to really check in with them to see, you know, how they're feeling. You know, that's why we have 24-hour nursing just to kind of see those physical needs. But two, you know, getting them active, getting them moving. That's what we want to do with them. Do you want to add anything with that, Jordan?
No, I think it's just super important to be able to kind of encourage both emotional and physical safety to be well-rounded that way. Yeah.
Definitely, and it benefits. And so we teach that, we educate it with, you know, the assessment team, with our psych practitioners, everybody, our therapists, milieu, you name it, we're all working with it. The next thing, and I always say this is probably the most important thing, is the relationship.
Yeah.
You know, effective communication with these kids. You know, I always say, you know, to these kids, help us understand what you're going through. And two, you know, a lot of these kids coming from different backgrounds and stuff, they don't know how to effectively communicate. So we're trying to help them do that and normalize that for them, you know, and checking in. Like, hey, if you are feeling suicidal, or if you're feeling like you need to self-harm, or you're having urges like that, we want you to communicate that and help us understand. And that helps with that culture to build that trust with us. And then that understanding part, this is huge. I think a lot of teenagers that we deal with, adolescents, you know, they don't feel like anyone understands them at this point. Yeah. And so we really want to encourage them to just open up as much as possible. Obviously, we're not going to get it right away, but as we work with them and communicate with them, that they start opening up.
Especially kids that come from a diverse cultural background. Yeah. That they need to feel that relationship, that connection, in order to feel comfortable in like a setting like ViewPoint Center.
Definitely, and that is one of our number one things. The non-judgmental approach. These kids feel judged already, you know, and that's that diverse culture there. I mean, a lot of them are coming from different backgrounds that feel like they're not doing enough to be accepted, or they're not doing enough to, you know, progress in life. And so, you know, we want to separate the behavior from who they are. You know, a lot of our kids come into us, you know, they're so focused on the behavior and how I'm acting and what I'm doing and stuff. And we want to separate that in the fact of we want to encourage positivity with them and really say, hey, the positive, recognizing that is going to benefit you more. Because a lot of the kids already, they're harder on themselves than we are. Mm-hmm. You know, they beat themselves up. And so with that background and stuff, really encouraging that culture of really recognizing and encourage them to recognize their peers, saying, hey, good job. You know, that goes a long ways for these kids. You know, give them a pat on the back, say, awesome, hey, that was great that you opened up today, or hey, that was great how you did that assessment test today. The little things, right? And that creates this big culture for us to, you know, have that positivity going through. And then leading. This is huge, and this is one thing I always say, especially for our staff, our direct care staff working with these kids, is role modeling. You know, these kids are always watching what we're doing and how we're doing it. And, you know, for me, I have a lot of staff members that come from different backgrounds and they experience different things in their lives. You know, they're not all from Utah, you know, they've been outside of Utah. And I like to create that culture just so the kids feel a little more comfortable. And so how we act and what we say and what we do, this really, you know, helps these kids showing like, hey, they're adults, they're authority figures, and they're role modeling this.
Yeah, they really pick up on, the kids pick up on just kind of the vibe and the culture within ViewPoint Center.
Definitely.
That lends to a much more diverse, accepting, kind of comforting, validating kind of approach.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's what we want to encourage just our staff, and then the kids start picking up on that, and then they start doing it. And we always say teenagers will probably learn better learning from each other. And then that developing of skills. That's huge. You know, we always think and we always can assume that the kids know how to act or what skills they need to use in certain, but that's what they're here for. You know, we want to really teach them, you know, different skills, social skills, you know, daily living skills, you know, of how to be successful and how it makes you feel good. And that just creates that culture for them and help them understand like our main purpose and goal for ViewPoint.
All right. Thanks, Clint.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming over.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. We're happy to chat anytime at ViewPoint Center.